Hello, good morning everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on Flutter Explained. I forgot again the door. So, I really hope you had a fantastic start in the day and you are as excited as I am. I have to slowly make the music a little bit louder. So, I hope you had an exciting start in August 2023 and you're ready for some live coding today. What did we achieve yesterday? As you maybe remember, we create here a Warcraft 3 game tracker application. The idea is that because we have different leagues in Warcraft 3 and because there is no real official support from the Warcraft 3 from the Warcraft 3 Blizzard behind it, I thought let's create something where we can send our leagues into, we can store everything, we can read from it, so that we can have on your phone all the information about the current league and where we are from the points, and maybe even organize the next event or something like that. Don't know yet, let's see where we go to. But at the end it should be only make something visible. The idea is to create the front and back end, the front end with Flutter and the back end with Go at the moment, with Gonic. And because I am trying to learn myself a lot of new things and I try to give you also best practices and examples, we will try to identify how we can set up, for example, things like Open API that we did yesterday with Swagger, for example. Then we will try to make everything accessible and at the end, maybe we can publish an app together. That would be fantastic. So, I already mentioned Open API. That was our last project yesterday, where we had some struggles at the beginning. So we used for that Swaggo. It's a tool for Go creation. We used Open API generator, and last but not least, we also used the Dart Open API generator. And now we are finally able to create our API. But there is still a little bit of a downside at the moment, and I will try to remediate that today, and we will have a look on how we can improve that. Because at the moment, what we have to do all the time is if the API changes, if our structure is changing or anything, we will have to completely remove our API folder and recreate it. That's not necessarily a problem, I just would like to improve that a little bit, because at the moment it lives inside of the API. And the problem with that is that we cannot easily change things because the dependencies to that is not existent. And I found yesterday there already a flag that we can change to, and we would like to take a look into that. And if the Open API part works better, I would like to check also naming conventions for Open API, because what I found is the resources that we created with Open API, if they are called, for example, league, we will not know in which layer they are, you know? Usually you have something like league entity, a league model, or a league something to just remediate where they live in your hierarchy of levels. And at the moment we don't have that, it's just league. And with that it's like, okay, where does it belong now? Is it already done something with it, or lives it in the API, or yeah. So I will like to have a look in if there are some naming conventions for Open API. Okay, and if there are no questions, and it looks like there are none, I would say let's get starting, right? All right. So let's transition, and I think I have not started anything, so let's get up with Goland here. So this is our backend, and as you maybe remember from yesterday, we have Visual Studio Code. And here our front end resides at the moment. So I'll remove that. Then as you can see, we get all this nice little API. This is a whole own package, like a private package in your project. And as you see in the README file, for example, we have all the documentation or how we generated this, which version it is, what is important to know, how to install it. And what I liked is, first of all, they added the dependency as a Git repository. So that means all this API folder that we have here would live and reside in an own GitHub repository. That would be one option, because what we learned yesterday is as soon as I delete, for example, the folder, because it has a direct dependency, if I delete the folder, it will not find it anymore. So this was not a real option for us. So the second thing is to use the package on your local drive, add the following dependency. So this is what we did. The only problem is there anything changing, we cannot do that easily. The installation procedure. We did that. Troop. Yeah, and I think there was nothing else inside. So what I mean is, if I go into this tracker YAML file, for example, and I would like to change, I don't know, let's say we would change it from leak to leak DTO. And now we would like to create that again. What we did yesterday was using the build runner, right? So we had this nice little execution here. And if I do that, there should be a message somewhere. Chirp. Exactly this one. So code gen skipped because always run is set to false and the API already exists. So we have to check how we can set this always run to true. So let me quickly check inside of Arc. This is now something else. Changelog. Not completely sure. Probably we have to always run false. Open API generator. Maybe we have to add that as a tag. Let's see. So in our lib API, we created this API.dart file, and here inside we have this open API. What can we pass it into? Additional properties to pass to compiler. Okay. Our inline schemas, API package, relative path, folder containing the template, generator to use. Okay. Where to write the generated files. Overwrite existing files. So this exists. Tells OpenAPI to always run during the build process. If set to false, the default OpenAPI will skip processing if output directory already exists. So this is the other one. Okay, perfect. So it is just a property inside of this OpenAPI part to true. And the other thing was override existing files. So with that, we can hold it inside of the front end. Then we have only the downside that this YAML file at the moment only exists inside of the backend or in the front end. But because it is a single source of truth, I would like to not always switch between the things, like getting it from two different sources. So the idea would be, or ideal it would be, because I believe the server will be the source of truth for me. So I would like that this one is the real one, more or less, where we are changing things and so on. So what I would like to do is creating a script that goes to GitHub, downloads this file as we need it, like Warcraft free game tracker server. So he would go here, downloads it from GitHub. And if we do that, then it should, use it for the code generation directly. All right. So how can we do that? Download single file from GitHub. SSH, not SSH, sorry. It's download singles file from GitHub. Go to the file you want to download, click. Okay, let's search via terminal. You cannot retrieve a single file using the git command line. Even if your repository is hosted GitHub, you need to use GitHub web interface or a direct URL to a file. To download an individual file from a repository, that's sad. Git does not support downloading parts of it. You have to download all of it, but you should be able to do this with GitHub. File, it has a link in a raw version. You can curl it, okay. Okay, so that should be, you can use the AV3 to get raw files like this. So actually we just want to re-get this file. Do we have it? Yeah. So that shouldn't be a problem at all, right? So if I use warp, for example, clear, and I say now we don't want to have it here, we would like to have it in projects, cd Flutter, Warcraft free game tracker client, and here I would like to get that. So we make curl curl download file. Output some file. Okay, fantastic. Warcraft free game tracker client immer? No. .yaml. Did that change something? So now we have the file twice, one time very large and one time a little bit smaller. This one is last updated at 9 this morning, 11. So this one is downloaded, but why is it now twice there? That's interesting. If I make that a third time, does it really download it again? No, but it changes the size here. Oh, it will not remove the file, it will just add it to the existing one, huh? Yeah, it seems like that. So let's see how it looks like in Visual Studio Code. So we have this one. And they are not exactly equal, there is a difference. Because this is underline and this is hyphen. What did you get here? Payload, some stuff, a lot of CSS classes. Okay, this is not because it's not the raw file here. So move to trash. Let's hop on and let's try to get that as raw. Let's try the command again. We'll remove this stuff. So LSLS, and we receive this one, and it is nearly the same size. So let's see how it looks in VS Code. Much better already. Very good. So that works actually. Fantastic. Oops. So that means if we go here, rm, the Warcraft free game tracker YAML, we can do that. rm Warcraft free game tracker YAML. Then we are empty of them. And now we would like to create a tools folder, mkdir tools inside of our Flutter project. cd tools. And now here inside, I would like to create an SSH or a ZSH script or SH script that enables us to create or that not only gets the file from the repository, but also creates the API for us. So yeah, touch, generate API dart API.sh, vim generate. So, and with that, we would have our... did I change something? Really? Okay. Let's get out. So what we would like to have is this curl command. Let's copy that over. And probably the output is wrong. What we would like to have if we are here is this. I guess. No, it's one time too much. Okay, great. So we copy that over, we skip it, and we go to generate this. So first we get the file. Now the question is, do we really want to stay inside of that directory? Let me quickly think. We get the file, we download it, and now we would like to generate. What was the command for generating again? So we write a quit, and the generation was done yesterday. Here we go. I think, yeah, this one, exactly. So this one, and win generate again, and add this here. So as soon as we have that, we go into that directory. So the only downside is at the moment that I am starting this command probably from a different folder. So it could be that there is an issue, especially here. Maybe I shouldn't do that. What I'm thinking is, if I do this, and we store the whole thing and quit. So how does it work? So if I go outside and now inside of here we say tools, Warcraft generate .sh. Permission denied. Okay, that makes sense. So chmod tools. That sounds right. Why do I make that for both? Ah, because I executed right away. Okay. Okay, it seems to do something. Open API generator. The spec file is not found. Okay, so let's ls quickly. Where did it store now? Warcraft 3. Ah, the naming is wrong. Okay, fair enough. We go again to Vim tools generate. The problem is that the naming is wrong in here. We specified it as insert as a hyphen instead of underline. That's fine. So, and with that, we don't have to chmod anymore. So tools generate the spec file not found. Let's remove quickly this part. So we started from here, the game tracker. Oh, why is it generating echo twice? Let's execute it again. Let's see. Okay, it fails. The problem is the open generator. Let me quickly check inside of the API that we have. So no, not this API, it is a lib API, and we ask for the / and get it from here. Ah, no, that's correct, I think, because we changed the download name, so that should be the right name. Let's copy that quickly just to make sure. So let's head over to the Vim again. Pasting that. So now that should do the trick. Execute. The spec file is not found. Check the path of the open API spec and try again. So if I would execute that command under here myself, how was it visual? I think, and then I can get that. Oh, that was wrong. Visual word. So copy, escape, quit. Didn't work. Sad. Curl. Ah, it was yank. I have to learn my Vim skills. I have to improve there. So if I only execute that, does he also not find it? That's interesting. But the file exists. Free YAML. I'm in the client. Maybe it's this a problem? Aha, now it works. Okay, great. So back to my place. What did I say? Exactly, the tools. Tools generate. Let's go. We download, we build, we run. Yay, success. So that means whenever I do that, we have our file ready and we can use it directly. And if to even improve it even further, because we don't want to keep that file and it could change anytime soon, we could even remove it. So now to make our curl or our little script here a bit more expressive, we could also tell our users what we are doing. So sh, it's just echo. Geez, echo starting or loading the the open API spec file from the repository, and then afterwards echo download complete, echo starting building the API for the client, echo build complete. And now to make it a bit happier, let's add also some tada. And also up here. So that's very important to keep your CLIs happy. Always put some emojicons into it. So, and if we execute it again, download complete, fine. I think we could also introduce some line spaces just in case. Oops. Echo. And echo, 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 echo. I'm sure there's better places or better options, but this is, I think, the easiest way. Just echo around. Cool. And with that, we have a little CLI that allows us to download and generate our API endpoints. Fantastic. And thanks to always run and the override existing files, we always override this one. So we don't get into this trouble that we had yesterday that because this one was not existent, we could not regenerate them because our build runner was broken and it was unable to recreate more or less the API. That was a huge mess. Okay, so then let's see. Did you chat something? Oh yeah, there are some intros. Hey, welcome Itachi. Hey Ajzal, hey Krill. Sorry for that. I'm always checking the chat messages a little bit late. You have completed a Flutter course from Udemy, but I don't know. I can't do anything with Flutter. How to start a project and plan a new one. Can anyone suggest me a solution? I can tell you how I began. I mean, if you scroll completely to the beginning of this channel, you will probably find my very first videos where I live streamed. And I had also some headaches from the start. So what I can recommend is take a very simple project, give yourself a 1 month time or maybe 2 weeks or something and try to solve it. So I think the first project that Angela Yu recommends is the body weight or body BMI tracker, like the body mass index, where you have to create some numbers and show them on the screen and make them visually appealing. And that could be your very first project. And try to make it as simple as possible. It could be even just a weight tracker. So if you have a scale at home, try to measure yourself and enter that into your app. So what that allows you is to learn how to use a local database. It allows you to learn how to get started with Flutter to make it visually appealing, maybe add some diagrams afterwards, but try to keep it as simple as possible. Try to start with a basic idea, get it done, and from there go further. So that means if you have everything in memory at the beginning and you don't store it in a database, so it be, but start somewhere and then extend it every time. That keeps you motivated. Another very good project that I can recommend is to create, how do you call it, Visitenkarten? Visitenkarten English, the name is business cards. A digital business card of yourself on your phone, where you show your name, your phone number, your email address, and maybe have a button to show it in a QR code. All of that gives you already a quite good impression on how to start and how the compiler is working. And yeah, if you dedicate some time into it, you will be better and better, and then you can start creating more complex things. So that is my recommendation for that. You can also take a look into the Flutter roadmap. This is from Alexei. He created that nice little visualization just to give you a glimpse on what you need to, or what is a minimum set of things you should at least have in your eyes, or what you can skip over quickly. So for example, if you are really a beginner, start to get an understanding of how Android Studio or Visual Studio is working. Ignore the rest, for example, then here you should know Dart, that's important, and all the other things are good to have and you should sooner or later learn them, but with that you can already create something. The next thing is starting with basic widgets, and here Material is the winner because with Material you can create nearly everything. And Cupertino and Mobile IG is more an advanced stuff, and Cupertino is not necessary for your very first app, if you ask me. Then there are core design patterns. There is also a nice website that I can recommend, design patterns. I think this guy here, yeah, the refactoring guru. What a lovely page. But he has all the different design patterns, and yes, they are not implemented in Dart necessarily, but if you search for a language that comes close to it, I think Java will do, or TypeScript, which give you a very good understanding on how things are working. And usually it's anyway more important to understand how these patterns are working and what are they trying to solve, rather than necessarily implement them directly. So that are my recommendations. I hope that helps you. I'm just pasting the links here. Good. So with that, we have done that, and I think if there are no other questions, let's go further. So we enabled now the creation of the API. We are allowed to override that all the time. We have that now locally in our how do you call it, in our repository directly. The question is now, do we want to commit all these changes, or do we say everyone who gets the API should just generate them when it comes to getting started with it? I think I would recommend to push it. Or, hard to tell. My gut feeling says I should push it, but you know, let's keep it for now and push it maybe. Yeah, I will think about that. In the meantime, I told also that I would like to take a look into naming conventions. And the reason for that is in Open API. So I'm really curious here. REST API endpoints, I think that is not necessarily the problem. It is really more the Open API part, because what I saw, specification best practices, security schemes, I think we have to also implement one of them. But what I'm looking for is, for example, this here, because the schema is pet. So our classes will be named pet and there will be no addition to it. To generate Pojo classes, I understood. So then we have pet. As a schema name is related, elements should always, okay. Name ID, access code, okay. Underscore add signs and others. Open API Gemini recommended alphanumeric only, okay. Makes sense. List book, operation ID, description, response. Yeah, okay. Interesting. I thought there would be more. So, any questions? Hi, where can I find the Flutter roadmap? The Flutter roadmap, sure. So let's roadmap. So I take always this one from Alexei. So let me quickly share that too here. Voila. And here we go. I think it's long time not updated, so if there is anything missing, feel free to add that. But I think it gives you already a very good understanding on what is really necessary. Also, a page that I can recommend is Flutter Awesome. No worries, with pleasure. Is it this one? I'm not sure. This one from Solido, where he creates a lot of packages and whatever you need, it added with the stars and so on. So it is quite an extensive list with all kinds of Flutter resources that could be interesting for you. So let's share that. So with that, we have most of my favorite links in Flutter done. Good. Besides of that, what did I wanted to do? Why did he change that? Ah, I didn't change that on Golan. Ah, nice, nice, nice. Very good. So that means here it is this, but it's not committed yet. Okay. Changed the server's URL to localhost 3000. So push. Great. And with that, this one should be happy. And now the question is, how can I terminal? We would like to no, not this way. We have now a tool for that. So tools, generate, and go. By the way, if you are interested in how to create better CLIs, there is a package from, I think it's Pascal Welch, who with the name Sidekick CLI. Maybe it was the best option to really use that. So if we have another command that we would like to do, we can use this Sidekick because it's really great, and we can write our scripts into Dart, which is pretty cool. So if we are coming to a problem, we can try to do it with them. Good, so that's that. We generate our Go server with it. This will return, we get the groups, group ID, leagues, league ID. I think we have to implement still a lot of API endpoints yet. So maybe we go into that now. So how to add a group? At the moment we implement. Our tests are still running, right? So just that I am sure. Run this tests. That's fine, perfect. So our integration tests also working. Nope, because the server is not running probably. Yep, connection refused, so that's right. Docker compose up. And we have to start Docker, of course. Starting the Docker engine. Docker compose up. So, and with that, our server is running, that's great. And now, if we are testing our things, all is great. Because they are integration tests, they need access to the database. And as you see, it is super fast, the tests are running super smooth. Very happy with that. I don't know why this is printed. Maybe there is somewhere a print statement that we have to get rid of. It's init testing, probably inside of here, init database, clean stuff, group. Do we have an FMT somewhere here? No, clean database. In the open connection maybe? OS get FMT print, there it is. Let's get rid of that. Removed print message. Very good. So with that, our test should be also a little bit more unverbose, so a little bit more expressive. So much better. Great. So all tests are green. That means this is running. Okay, what do we have to implement? I think from the leaks perspective, we just need the find leak. So let's start with that one. So the idea is that we get one single leak with a API call, and I think we receive the ID, and it needs to be where is it? I think here we go. So it would be leaks, and then the ID exactly. So that would be this call. It's a get call. We pass in the parameter ID. It's a path parameter, required true. All right. So then let's get started, write some tests here. So this can begin test get single leak t start testing.t. Okay, what can we do? I think I copied that over just to make the most of easier. So what we need is we initialize the testing. That's because we want to set up the database and the server. I think with that we get a mock server, right? Yeah, perfect. And then we ask that mock server to get us something. And now let's see, that would be the endpoint for leaks. Okay. And then we would like to pass in a question mark ID. And inside of here, we would like to have a leak ID. So because it's our test API, we should take that. And I take the first now, because that is our initialized one. So that is the one that we receive from our test setup. And I think we set the DB, ID there. Is that true? Set up test DB, let's see. Yes, indeed. So we pass in the ID and it should be exact. So, but we see right now that this is not the case. So he ignores that ID. So that will be a problem for our test, I guess. Test group, new models group. Must parse. So actually I thought this would be the case, but it seems that save leak is not saving the ID. That is true. That is a problem. That is a problem. Save leak with ID. Can I make ID optional in Postgres? So many questions, right? Let's see. So Postgres SQL store resource optional parameter. Postgres return format P123 function. What a wait, I don't want to write a function. I would like to make a default insert. So insert into, and then I would like to make something optional. Postgres SQL insert parameter. Look at that, I'm not the only one. Serial primary key insert PL mandatory option values. Mandatory option values. Insert into table name, column name, overriding default values on conflict. One or more rows specified by value expression. If a column list is specified, you need to insert privilege. Okay. Okay, what I can do is make it programmatically. Maybe not the best solution, but what I could do is say if leak leak.id is nil, then we use this part here. Else we use something else. Insert into ID name, and then here we would have, and we would not we can still return the ID, it doesn't matter actually, and the error would not be a left hand side part, something like this. No, not possible. Unused variable. Okay, error is unused because the error message and stuff is done here. So we would have here var error. We don't need that. And this one would be in storage. Great. And then we would pass it down here. So cannot convert nil to type UU int ID. So the ID. The field is ID type, but what if it is not set? UU ID, does it have to be like this? Yeah, okay, so it could be empty, that's true. So, and with that we insert that, and else we do exactly the same thing. The only difference is here I would say leak.id. So, not optimal because I would need to do that all the time, and it could be also changing if the client is somehow injecting me a new UID, but as long as it doesn't upsert then anything, it shouldn't be a problem. Unsure about it. I'll have to check. But maybe you have better ideas, then let me hear them. So value ID, cannot use value ID as type. That is not possible because you could be a leak entity. Could be null. We know that now. Okay, let's try. So we let that run. We have the ID. I think I have to set up the database quickly. So let's remove these two. And now we would like to run the tests. So go for it. Cannot use must parse value UID as your UID value in assignment. Shit. No. Okay, so this is not a solution that I would like to use. Actually, I thought already like that. So it cannot be null, but what is it then? Go unset parameter. Check for unset parameter. No. It's not about a string. So what is exactly the error message? So if I would like to say if this is nil, but he says me it can't be nil. Pre-declared identifier representing the 0 value for a pointer channel func interface map slice type. Type must be a pointer. Channel func interface map, or and I thought because this is not a pointer. I solved it by using support nil or MTUUID. Okay, I understood. So the thing is, what we are doing, this is a pointer. As soon as I make a star here, it's a pointer to source, right? So that is correct. So now it can be nil, that's true. So the only downside is we have to check here in the must parse, it's here I guess, that this one is really set something, or that we can set it somewhere. And the must parse is returning us a UUID and not a pointer to it. So how to make that? It would be an option to make a new surrounding it. Not necessary, okay. Could I create a new UUID by adding this? So new UUID, but this is returning me an error. Version domain ID. Marshall text, node Marshall text. Must parse a pointer UUID. No, go. UUID new. But what is that? Is that a fixture? But also this returns me a UUID. Or doesn't work. The new built-in function allocates memory. The first argument is a type, not a value, and the value returned is a pointer to a newly allocated 0 value of that type. Okay. Then we have make, but make is used for slices, I guess. Yeah, slices, map, and channels. Okay. So probably what I would have to do is doing it like this. We have then, I don't know, the test ID would be new UUID, and test ID is now from the pointer, right? So this is star, perfect. So, and to pass in now test ID dot, but I get now all kinds of IDs. It doesn't seem that I can pass in just any ID. Golang, how to create a pointer to UUID with a specific ID. Exit command UU output. UUID is never nil. Is a pointer to something equal to UUID nil? Ah, okay. So there is an own type for that. So maybe all of that is not even necessary. Right, let's get this back. So he says there is always something like that. And then here it would be UUID.nil. Ooh, look at that. It actually exists. Question is now if this is really something or if it is never true, then we fall down. But it could be. So this UUID, can we find nil here? Obvious. This is just the error messages. Oh, okay. So let's see. That would mean we can now run this integration tests. PQ, there is no parameter 0. Okay, so as I said, we didn't set the parameter 0, and probably it is during the testing, so that did not work. Oh, on the other hand, why did it not work? Save leak, we get the model inside. Probably 0 is just not existent, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's rerun. That worked. Okay, that means we have now inside of our leak the right ID. Is that correct? So in our setup DB, perfect. Okay, so that means we find that test group leak ID. Okay, and up there we have the same. Okay, great. Exactly what we wanted. Good. So next is we would like to get one single of them. So we pass in the UUID here. And because of that, it should already create some failure actually. So let's do that. It works still. 200 API v1. So how to pass a parameter West. It is parameters question mark and then it's equal, and every further is with an ampersand. So that should actually do the trick, but it seems that we have a problem. Probably, is it the get method that comes into the pane here? No, it's a get method. It's on leaks with the ID. Find leak operator ID print, and it should give me something. Query is ID. That's interesting. So we get that. We make a get request, new recorder, serve HTTP. Result is a leak, a list leak. That's not true. If we get a single one, we would like to get just one single leak object. Yep. We would not have that, and we would not have that. It should be like this. Now it should fail, but still out of the wrong reasons, I guess. Test leak is not equal, so I receive all. So this one is implemented, so we get this one. How does it look like on the server side? So if we see this, there we start all of them. Here we can see we have leaks, which is a post, and we have the getter. Ignores with parameter. On the other hand, I think Gonic is not a problem, right? Because Gonic, if I see that message that we received, not here, but at the run command, what we can see is that the query is actually correct. Ah, wait, but it's not, now I got it. It's not the leaks itself, it's slash. So wait a second, so we would like to do it this way, and I think we would not even do this, we would just send it like that. Aha, so something happened, go panic, fantastic, this is what I waited for. So the reason is we have not implemented it, right? So in our API, we get this error message here, so implement me. But we receive now the ID. So that means what we can do is we can ask the repository for a single leak. So get leak, and we pass in the ID. Create new from slash file from selection, introduce local variable. Let's try that. No, not possible. Scratch go. No, that's stupid. Okay, I thought that would work easier. So we have to jump probably to the repository, and inside of here we have the leaks. This is for the generation, and this is get all leaks, and I think we will do the same thing. Func get leak, where we pass, where we retrieve from it a models.leak and an error if something goes wrong. Would we pass in a pointer to a leak, or would we pass in the leak object? Let me quickly think. Would we need to pass it as a pointer? We would not have it as null, and it needs to be generated, so there is no reason to really think about a pointer, I guess. So we just generate it and pass it over. Or if there is an error, then it could be nil, so we probably have to do it as a pointer. Yeah, so we did the same thing for the leaks if we save it. I think it makes sense. So first we get the DB, get open connection, then we say leak entity. Oh, that is anyway wrong, right? This is entities. It's good that I saw that. So yeah, because we get from entities the leak entity. What we would like to do, exactly, we query also. So db.select, we pass it into the leak entity, and the query is select star from leak where ID is equal to $10, and that would be the leak. No, it is. I received the ID. I didn't mention that. So we get a UUID, UUID. Oops, sorry. The ID, UUID.UUID from that type, and we pass it that as string. So, and if something goes wrong, if error unequal to nil, I think we can copy that more or less, because then we just return nil or error. Good. Else, we don't have to make leak models, actually. We don't have to for loop. What we would like to do is creating the models of a leak. Leak, and we fill all fields, because the UUID will be inside of the leak entity ID. The leak entity dot name dot start date, leak entity dot end date, and the website. Good. There is some complication. Why? So we get here time, and here we have the custom time. No, this starts again. So we have from the database time, and here we have the custom time where the time is mapped, and the reason for that was that it was necessary. Do we even use that leak object anymore? Probably yes. It was important for unmarshalling. But on the other side, do we use that anymore? I mean, we generate these things, right? I think not. At the moment I return the open, where is that? What we are returning? Find leaks. We pass in the leaks, which we get from all leaks, but these are these parts. Where do we get this? Let me quickly check. So we have the interfaces that we override, right? This ones. This comes from here, and I think we should have also the models here. For example, a leak. How does that look? Okay, find leak, handler add leak. No, okay, so we don't have the objects created here. We only have the methods, so that means we return something. Unlucky. But what we could test is, do we still use that unmarshalling actually? I have the feeling we don't really use that anymore in our code. Where is that? Make models, save leak, leak models, new. Add new leak. So here we create a leak and we read the, and here we unmarshal. Okay, so now we still need that. Alright, so there is no easy way. We have to somehow create a custom time, and that was possible by leak.go. Here we get the leak, and here we go. So that is can I say custom time and then pass in time, which is then this? Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so custom time leak entity dot end date. Good. With that we should have it. This one is created and it complains that it's never used, so let's return that. That is hardly possible, and error we need to return. So you complain because you are probably cannot use blah 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 because it's not a pointer. So that being said, we would need to create a new model. Does it have to be something like that? I mean, yeah, because of the nil part. Okay, else I can't return nil. That being said, we need to create a leak. Or leak model, which is a new models.leak. Leak model, like this. Okay, and then what we have to say is id equals leak entity.id. I asked myself if there is something like an auto mapper for that. Dot name equals to this. Leak model dot start date equals to this here. Dot end date equals to this. And last but not least, leak model dot website equals to website. Great. And now we can return the leak model. All right. Very expressive, very long, but hey, that's fine. So let's execute this. We get an error, still panicking, or custom recovery from SAP, okay. That shouldn't happening. Invalid memory address or nil pointer reference recovered. Invalid address, test single. Serve, okay, testing. Oh, very good. So, great. So we received that leak, which is rather leak or error. We don't use that. So if error unequal to nil, then I don't know. We have c dot error. And if, what's wrong here? There's an error for error. That doesn't make any sense, I guess. So probably we will check that in a sec. But if we have that, else we return or c.json http.status OK, and we return the leak. c.json, we return http.status bad request, or yeah, and we return the error. Is that how we do it until now? JSON, if something happens, we just return. That sucks. That's the horrible solution. How about abort with status? Doesn't sound too good either. But I think log fatal is a good option. log fatal, and then we enter here the error. Just that we are knowing that there is an error. Good. Log fatal kills the application. Oh, not good. So log flags logger, yeah, default. Log fatal. Panic. Is fatal? What is panic? Panics, that is not even worse, because then the server is also down, doesn't help us. Is it just a print then at the end? Yeah, probably. Okay, so you see we have to still to clean up a lot of this mess here. So what do we have? Go routine running. We still run into this issue. Headers were already written. Wanted to override status code. There is no parameter 0. There is no parameter 0. Set up test database. I thought we removed that, or if that 0 part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that works. Same up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all good. That's an odd issue. So let's rerun quickly. Let's see. So we still get this error. That makes me a little bit nervous. What do we have in the other repository? Do I maybe make here a mistake? No. Weird. Headers were already written. Wanted to override status code 400 of 200. Get runtime error. Invalid memory address. Or nil pointer. Segmentation violation. Okay. Testing. Run here. So did we return something and I was not able to unmarshal it? Is that what it says? Can we make a breakpoint? Let's see how far we come. PostgresDB, I think we don't need that anymore. So here we go. We got a response data and we unmarshaled it into result, and result is nil, and that's why it crashes. Okay. So why is it nil? We got a response data, and the response data has also quite some length, which is sadly just a byte array. Okay. It was not able to take the response data and pass it into the result. Read body. This is just a buffer. What is what we received as? This is the request. And W is our response, right? So usually we receive a 400. That means something went wrong at some point. Okay. That's good. That means we have a problem at this point. Probably we run into this here. And rerun quickly. Yes, indeed, we run into it. We get an error. There is no parameter 0. There is no parameter 0. Okay, I understand. Ah, stupid me. Fantastic, stop and rerun. And what's the goal? What happened? Invalid address, still error, okay. So what's the error this time? Expected slice but got struct. Okay, also interesting. Expected slice but got struck. Ah, oh, here it oh. Okay, so select expected a slice, I guess. Okay. So probably it drops here in, right? So rerun. Yes, indeed. Interesting. So select, that means SQLX we're using, I guess. So X, select Golang. So he gets a product. This is a PSL product, and he is using the database to get the product. Query select product ID. Okay, so we would probably make a get request, not a select. Is that correct? Get using this any place out of replace both the supplied args and error is occurred, the result is empty. Okay, let's rerun. And it seems already quite greenish. That being said, we have fixed the error. Nice. Okay, but we don't run into errors anymore. Oh yeah, that's why it's green. Okay, fantastic. So we got our test and we solved that. So our run, let's run everything. Green, fantastic. Okay. So that being said, we can say we introduce the feature, receive a single... Oh wait, before we do that, let's add also inside of here our getter, so that we have test for get a single leak from the database. And what we are doing is this, and then we have the ID, leak ID. If we go to our dev environment, we have then the leak ID and can pass in the default one. So this is from our testing API. Shouldn't be a problem at all. Inside. Good. And with that, we can directly click on it and we should receive a response. Or we don't receive a response. Bad request here. We get null, that's fine. Let's see, probably because we asked this database, which is our main database, and here inside we don't have that element. So we shouldn't receive a 400 in this case, is it? Or 400 is right, but not bad request. So that's a good test case actually. So what happens if we don't receive? So test single cannot get single single resource, or no valid resource with this ID. So we pass in any kind of ID. So let's say, don't know, something like this. And let's see what happens. Does it need to be added by test? Okay. Test. Good. So we have that. What happens if I run that? Test does not equal, test leak does not equal. That's true. Okay, so there is that problem. Test no valid. Okay, and what is the response actually? So we get a 400 out of it. 400, and what is the expected outcome? So we would like to receive assert equal, and W code should be HTTP not found, probably, or status accept already conflict bad gateway created forbidden found not found would be my assumption. So why is it reddish? not enough arguments in call. Okay, what are you requiring? T, obviously. T and the rest. Fair enough. So this is what we would like to have. But we receive 400. So now we have to check inside of our league.go what happens. If I come here, we probably get an error that we couldn't find something. Oops, let's do it this way. Oh, we don't even come into it. Okay. I mean, if we fail out of some reason, so for example, if we fail with that the database has a problem or anything else has a problem and there is an error, then we don't want to showcase. But if there is no error besides of, hey, there is no valid data, then I would like to get some data or at least some information that it doesn't work correctly. Can I? There is no breakpoint possibility at the moment. It's a little bit unlucky. And then the question is why? That's odd. Debug. I can debug this one, right? So I get the ID, I get that, that's working all correctly. Nothing special. So let's check once more, maybe I did a mistake somewhere. So we have the UUID here, we have nobody, we pass everything in, we serve it. And let's say, do we need to unmarshal it even? I don't think so. So we could even get rid of this, just need that. And now let's try it again. No, still completely off the chart. Maybe I should rename that test. No, yeah, that sounds good. No tests were found. Let's debug that once more. Okay, I don't understand why I don't see at least a breakpoint jumping into. It's weird. Okay, what could be the issue here? Let's try to understand it. So first of all, we have our league model where we pass in all the kinds of information, ID and so on and so forth. If this is not possible, we receive an error probably. This one, probably we jump into this and return nil. Good. If we return nil and error, what kind of error it is? We can't see that here, right? So no. That means in our API, we would need to print our error. So here we have this, and we print the error actually, but maybe it's too late. Let's put that one level up, just to see. This is the test, and then here we have the get, but I don't get the error, right? So no, nothing. What could be the issue for that? get this error get leak? And even worse, why can't I debug it? So many questions. So what happens if I debug here? Will I jump there? Yeah, fantastic. At least something. So the request is working. We receive 400, but I can't see the error that occurs. So do we jump inside of here is the next question. So the easy answer would be no, we don't. The question would be why not? If I pass in this, will I now jump into it? Okay, the answer is easy. Okay, I was stupid. Understood. So the reason why we can't jump into it is the following. I forgot to add another number here. Needs to be exactly the same length. So what we need to do is 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? Let's keep that, but change this. So we have exactly 4. UV 8, 5. So probably now we will jump into it and we will not find anything. So still not. Still not. What? I changed that already. No. 0. Aha, now finally. Good, we finally made it. So we jump over that, we return nil here at this place. And the reason is, what is the error? Let me see. SQL no rows in the result set. Okay, great. That is actually a great error. No rows in the result set. So how can I check now against this error? Because I would like to make that special. So I pass in the error up, right? So that means we see it here. This error is not null because it is SQL is no string, so copy value. And inside of here we would have if error dot this is the string. Error dot error equals to this. Error string. How can I receive now the error.s? The error built-in interface type is conventional interface for representing an error condition. With yeah, but this is not nil. Let's check that. Strings.contains. String error timed out. Okay. So that means if error, don't do it this way. Nah, string.contains this no rows set. Is that correct? Contains the error and then okay. Error.error substring. Then we have C JSON HTTP not found. And error. Good, I think that makes sense. So with that, if we cancel that and rerun, we have a green test. Fantastic. So receiving to receive a single leak from the server. Also, if there is no leak found for a specific ID, we return 4.4. Goodie. And with that, we have already made quite a step again. We implemented the next level, and yeah, that's pretty cool already. So then I would say let's go directly to the next one, right? Don't waste too much time. No questions so far? Great stuff. So now we can try maybe if our script is working well. So let's generate the Dart API. So, and because we got now the information from that YAML file, I know it shouldn't do a difference, right? Because the query is anyway requesting correctly. So because we didn't change anything in the API, we just get what we anyway get. So that being said, we have this. We get our app, use material, homepage. We get our leak API. And here we get all the leaks, but here we could also do now all the other things like get a specific leak and more information, things like that. Great stuff. Not even sure if we all need that stuff. Probably whenever you do something like that, I would highly recommend you stick with a Firebase backend. I think for something like that, where you only want to read data, it's absolutely sophisticated and cheaper compared to creating all that mess here. As I said, it's a learning journey from my side. Good, then we have the group part. We still don't have the add group and the find group, so that should be now fairly simple actually, because we can copy most of it from the leaks stuff. So first of all, we would like to have a pointer to a leak, then we read what we got from the request. We unmarshal everything. I think we can really copy most of it. So, and up here, let's go to the group. Can do the same thing. So we won't have this, but a group with all these infos. We get it from JSON, that's fine. We get the data from there. We don't want to make it fatal. I said that before, so maybe a println. If error is unequal nil, we abort here in the context directly. Okay, interesting. So we handle the error where it occurs and throw it directly back to the context. We can do that, obviously. Not sure if I like it, but yeah, I mean, it's possible. So then we have the JSON part. Oops, interesting. What did I do? So here we go. I think we just have to import it. Let's take this one. We unmarshal everything into leak. This is now a group. And then we call save group with the group inside. And this one needs to be created in the repository. And at the end, we just return the stored group ID. And group, stored group, and this is CJSON where we return this with no group could be created. I think it makes more sense. And I think even here it makes more sense. So what is exactly happening? The group was not in the right format. And last but not least, when we do that, JSON, we get this, the group not provided. So, or the request body did not have a group. Question is also, what do you want to give out to the customers? At the moment, I just pass in that. It could be that we have here, for example, only a a language string so that we get from the front end side, we only map this into the different languages that we would like to have. But because we are only working in English at the moment, I guess it's fine. But for the future, it could be an issue actually. So we have the stored group, we pass in the ID. What is stored group? We don't know that yet because the repo is not implemented. Good. Before I go further, I would like to write a test for it. That means we have here test get all groups, func test store a group in store group t star testing.t. Good. I think also this we can copy. This, insert a group, and I think we need this. So what happens? We initialize, then we create M and B where we map a string to any. Okay, this is just JSON that we would like to have. So the name, and here's the question: what do we need actually for JSON? Would conclude probably all of these things. So let's take them. Go to our test and add them here. So we would have ID is not necessarily, the name is necessary, the league ID, which we will provide in a sec. So then we have the end date, that is can be admin. Then we have vetoes, which is just a basic plain number. The admin is, for example, Max Fosch. Very good YouTube channel, highly recommended, makes a lot of fun to watch. Maps per match, and I think free. Status is, for example, status is in progress, for example. Good. League ID, we can take that from here. No, not from here, from the test DB in this case. We will take this one. So our test league will be also the main league for the first group that we create. And that's actually it. We have the JSON encoder. We have requests that we create on groups probably. Oh, we even get that here. Nice. Why don't I see the post of groups? Interesting. Groups get post. There it is. I did not know that this is working, so why do I don't get now the groups? Groups get and ID. Huh. Sad, but great. So pretty cool. So that means our open API is also somehow connected to our IDE again. And also for leak, it doesn't recognize the post requests. But well, at least we get this one. So then we say it is okay, we get something back, we parse it to a string, and the given string is not a UUID, fair enough. While this is actually not a really good error message here at the end. So if we do that now and we execute that, what do we get? Fail found ID. What? Obviously I should not keep my trash inside of here. Undefined save group. Perfect. So that doesn't exist yet, so we can't do that. So to make it runnable, let's see a repository, stored group, group repository. Interesting. Yeah, I think we need that. So why don't I have this here for the leak? Get leak? We don't have that. I think we should create that too. And maybe even rename this, because at the moment it is just leak, and I think to add the repo part is maybe not too bad. But well, okay. So as I said, I'm still learning here. So we receive, we get already a save group. We have that already implemented for the repository part. Why don't you find that? Interesting. Give me a second. Can I not just execute go, then the group, add group, find group, group service, get all groups? The group service I. Ah, right, we don't do that for the league yet. We don't have set this service yet. Because we would not use the repository directly from the API call. So save group, we would receive models.group, and then we would return a UUID probably, and an error if an error happens. So this is the interface, so you have to import that. So function G group service, save group, and then as I said, we receive models.group, and we would pass in return a UUID or an error. So now we have a dependency, that's good. So they are this one is creates or uses the interface of this one. That's great. Now what I can say is I can create the ID and an error by accessing the interface, in our case g.group repository, and here we can store it, where we pass in the model that we receive here, model group. What is the name of it? Like group. And we pass in this one in. While this is a pointer, right? So save group expects a pointer, indeed. Not perfect, but yeah, something like this. Aside argument count mismatch 2 equals 1. Okay, save group doesn't return an error. That would be a mistake, I guess. So let's change that too. Would be something like this. So we don't use them yet, so we can return the UUID for an error. So the ID is reddish because I return, yeah, makes sense. So I get here a group or let's call it result, and the ID would be result.id. Good. So much to the service. The only difference, why does it not pick up anymore the interface? Because we have here, so this way. Okay, great stuff. So in our API, you are complaining at the moment. The reason is because you get also an error back if you like. Stored group is nil, unequal to nil. So if the error is unequal to nil, then we return this with an error. So fantastic. Then inside of here, we don't receive stored group. What we return here is we receive the ID. And I think we can pass in this here. And it could be JSON takes everything, so that's fine. So why is that complaining? No usage. Because that is big letter. Good. Here we store that. We have that. Then we use the group repository. That works already. So if there is nothing wrong, that should work. And our test should do already what it should do. Let's go. Okay, we get some errors. Fantastic. Cannot use group repository. Okay. Value is a struct literal. Repo group is a group. The group repository. Okay. Something is missing. So here is an issue. Save group imports models group. Is that because of the naming? No, I don't think so. Or does that have to be specified like group? No. Doesn't matter. But the return type is wrong here. Okay, gotcha. Models group or error. So, because this can happen an error and it returns nil or the error. And the error better. And log fatal we said is a bad solution, so we don't do that because it panics. And here we nil or return the error. Else we don't return the group, we return the ID of the group. Or no, we return the group or nil. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Everything is implemented. Run. Good. We failed. That's perfect. So what's the issue? 500 return. Okay, so something went wrong. That's good. 200, 500. Given string is not a UUID. Invalid length. Okay. So let's see. Click to see the difference. Okay, I mean the difference between 500 and 200. I found that too. So what kind of test did I do actually? UUID parse assert equal. Okay, so we fail here. And now the question is what? The given string is not a UUID is the error message that we retrieve, which makes no sense. Probably we got no back and then just both errors are dropping. So probably you don't even need that. But anyway, if we are here, what do we get from the save group? Let's check. Debug. This can be gone. And here we can improve that a little bit. So where are we here? So what is the error? Nil nil. So we shouldn't get any error, right? What is the ID that we retrieve? A lot of zeros. That is unfortunately, I think that is not what we actually do. So we go inside here, we go into the save repo. We insert that with the leak ID admin 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we retrieve back the store ID. Can we rerun? Just that I come here. So what is the group ID? The group that we retrieve. No, that's the group that has been created. Transaction. But the ID has to be set. There is something useful inside. That's good. And I return the group. And that's probably where the issue comes into. This is just anyway beforehand. Now we try to implement the right one. So we get with the ID, we get the group. And now here we didn't set the ID. Group ID. Yeah, sure. Okay, gotcha. Now we have the problem that we had beforehand with the leak, but in a different way. Look at that. We wanted to store the leak beforehand. And if you remember, we needed to make this distinction. The reason is for our testing stuff, we have this ID part. And for our not testing stuff, we don't have it. So probably I would have to implement the same thing. That's so ugly. The problem is... What would happen if I don't pass it in? Would it then understand it? So what would happen if I take the group ID, like it is here, save group, and I don't pass that? So what if I know that this ID is not existent? Oh, but it seems to provide it somehow. So if I come here and check the group, we can see that the ID is something. This is from the first run, this is true. Let's go over it. So I get this, and this is not a real UUID, it's a broken UUID. So that's interesting, that means this group will be predefined with stuff. Because of the marshalling, I guess. The marshalling will create a UUID, which doesn't make any sense. Can I do something about that? Let me see. We go here. Our group.id. What has UUID actually? Is there anything? Must parse. Enable rand from byte get time. Is invalid length error must? what I could do is I could create the random ID before I store it in the database and just take care of the UUIDs in my system. But I mean, that feels not right somehow, because I would like that the database takes care of that. I just sometimes want to add the ID in testing cases actually. I could update the IDs then afterwards. So for testing cases I update the ID, but that doesn't feel well also. What would happen if I pass in here nil? Would that work? So we would get an error here. Group test, where did it fail actually? Yeah, it would drop out inside of it with a panic. Okay, so nil will be not possible. Okay, that being said, I think the only viable option is still to do the if-else check, and then depending on that, adding the ID or not, or creating the ID beforehand. So what I could do is I could check if group.id equals to UUID nil. Then we do group ID set to UUID.new. That would be an option. So now we create it from our side. I think it's not too bad. I think that's not too bad. So in the worst case, we created that and it's fine. API something is not a UUID, that's fine. Now we have to understand why. If I make a breakpoint here, let's see. So we receive the group ID, which is now a valid UUID actually. So, and I should get that ID, I do. I think we don't even need this scan anymore because the ID is clear now. Then we have that. We get that, that's all good. We jump out. This is just a leak. Sorry, my mistake. Got that, we don't have an error here. We get this result. Result.id is the UUID, fantastic. So the ID comes back. Seems valid. A little bit short maybe, but valid. Now it fails, so the test seems to be wrong. Passing W body string, but we return not a, oh wait. It seems here we are dropping out. Wait, why? There is an error, it seems. No, wait, I'm stupid. If the error is not nil, then we want to do something. Else we are just running fine, and that should do the trick. Swoop. Green stuff, fantastic. So we get our value and we get a valid UUID actually. So, and you don't handle the errors at the moment, which can be fine. I think we just ignore it for now. Good. Okay, that is that. This is solved, and I think with that we can store groups. Simple enough. It is now possible to store a group on our server. So this can be gone. Our server. Oh well. Let's go to git, change the commit message by edit commit message, remove one of the servers. I think don't have to be too good. And we have a test for it, which makes the whole thing even better. So run all tests. And one is crashing. Test get single leak is now crashing. Nil pointer reference. Ooh, what? Wait a second. In our testing, this is our UUID, and you are correct, right? Oh, okay. How did that happen? Invalid memory address or null pointer difference segmentation. Okay. Testing go, integration test. So don't we get a result back? Yeah, nil. How did that happen now? Okay, so that means our leak part. We add a leak, we find a leak. It's about a single leak, no rows in the result set. What is the error that we receive? So let's hop over it. No error at all. That's great. What is that? Custom recovery with SAP. Invalid memory address. Wait a moment. He crashed at a test. That's horrific. Where do we get in? So string contains error. So maybe I should do this. So I think that makes more sense, right? Let's try. No, it's still crashing. Okay, probably. That's such a stupid mistake. Okay, good to know. The problem is probably I don't check if the error is not a nil, and so it fails. So probably I would need to do something like error and a nil and whatever this is. So and not string, and string contains, yeah, like this it would be. So with that we should be fine. All tests are passing again. Okay, that's a bad commit, so usually you should roll back, but I will not do that now. I just amend, so go for it. And we have two warnings. Unused parameter, yeah, so this is the last one. And you know what, we fix that and create a new commit with that. So find group, that is exactly the same like leak. We have that for a single leak, and we can do that the same way. So just renaming things, group, get group with the ID. No result set, we can do that exactly the same way, and that looks quite well. We don't go directly to this, we ask the services to, yes please, and we get, what do we have, services, group services dot, wait, w.groupservices.get group with ID. So like this, then we go to here, and here we can implement it. So that means we want to pass in UUID. Don't need that, and I think we don't need that. And what we want to return is a models.group or an error. Can it be null? No, it shouldn't. If there is an error, then this happens. Good. So func g group service, we get our group. And if we get the group, we ask for this models.group. Now we have a UUID, UUID. And what we return is a models.group or an error. It could be that this needs to be nillable. Let's see and think about it. Great. So result and error from g dot group repository get group and we pass in the ID, return result or error, something like this. So this comes from the group repository. Here we have to get the group. We have that. This is the service. We have it here. Get group. We pass in a UUID. Stop that, please. And we pass back a models.group or error. Could be that I forgot now everywhere this asterisk because we need to pass it as a pointer, but we will find out. So last but not least, we have this query, func g group repository, having this, and good. With that we return this, and yeah, simple enough. Then we can take it again from the leak repository. Here we want to get our single one. Doing this. DB, this is our group entity, where we get the entities from group and perfect. So we select group entity, get select from group. Oh, group. Why is it not possible? Okay, understood. So what we have to do is getting all of this different there, and now we can say from group. Doesn't work. It needs to be that and from group. Qualify, yeah, that we can try. I'm unsure if this works with public because I think the groups is inside of tables, so yeah. Let's try if this works, I don't know. We get the ID as string, that's fine. And because this is not nullable, we have a problem, so I have to change that. And here, so return that. So here we have our group model that we create from the group. And then we pass in the name, the admin, what is left, vetoes, and maps per match. What do we have else? Vetoes, admin, maps per match, name, ID, status. And last but not least, the league ID. So admin is just the group entity dot admin, group entity dot vetoes, and group entity dot maps per match, group entity dot status, and last but not least, group entity dot league ID. Great, we return that, and error cannot be returned because if this is there, there shouldn't be an error. Fine, so good, that should do the trick. We import, that works. We have it from the group service, that is okay, no rows insulted. We get this, get group, simple enough. Doop, doop, doop. Any issue besides of that? I think we have to do the same thing for the league, right? Ah, we did, okay, great. Good, then let's test our results. And let's try to store. Ah, we didn't have a test yet. Ha! Test, get single group. T, start testing T. I'll get that from here. And we have this part here. Getting all that. So same thing, we go to the groups this time, and here we pass in the ID from our test generated ones. So, oi. Interesting, for each test it doesn't overwrite them. For the league it does, for the group it doesn't. So why is this the case? Interesting. So group, save league. League is query row insert into, and here it is. Query group. Oh, because the ID is set. Okay. That's odd. Unsure here. I don't completely understand. So what I will do is removing them for now, but this seems to be a problem for the test DB for the long run. So we have to remediate that. So we have the result, which is a star group, and also for there. Fine, I think that should do the trick. So we get it from group. Here we want to pass in later the parts. Admin is, I think, I don't know, max Fosh, I said, and there is the maps per match, which should be free. Simple enough. So if I run this test, we will fail, obviously, but I would like to get the group ID that we have here and passing in this. Let's run it again. Still crashing, good. Because max Fosh should be Legolas, and that makes sense because this is the first generated one. But wait, I have to think. Do we want to get one single? Yeah, we want to get the single one. Okay, so it should be Legolas, obviously. That's true. So, good. With that, we get the result. The only downside is at the moment, as I said, we create multiple of these. That's really bad. I actually thought that shouldn't do or shouldn't happen. Why is this anyway the case? I thought, is the UID not the primary key? I think it is. We don't have a key here. Interesting. How did we do that with the leak? Didn't we say the ID? We don't have keys. How does that look here? We random UUID. No, it's like that. So why does the one override and the other don't? Make that a little bit smaller. We have the ID, we set a new ID if it is not null, but for the default one it shouldn't matter. Then we take the public group and we pass in the ID query row, insert into values, returning ID. Insert league, values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, returning ID, scan league ID. So why does it not? So we return here nil, here only nil. DB must begin. TX commit. Really interesting. I have no idea why it does that. Is the ID changing? No, it's exactly the same thing. Okay, so maybe I have to add something into the repository. So insert into, and then on conflict or something like that. So do not PostgreSQL. Insert, do not insert if ID exists or something like that. does not exist. So SQL string insert 100 values, 100 slug status. On conflict, do nothing. On conflict, do nothing. Conflict, do nothing. It created another one. That is really something. So he don't find a conflict between these. Is that the reason? Solves many of the subtle problems. For those needed, here are 2 examples. Insert if not existent, also nothing. Insert into distributor. Did dname, blah blah. On conflict, did do nothing. Ah, okay, so we have to pass in where the conflict can happen. Do nothing and on conflict ID. So like this. So now we have only 4. Cool. So remove them. I think now it shouldn't do it anymore. So process finished. Exit code 1. Because it now don't create it ever. On conflict ID do nothing. No. So the problem is it doesn't store now anymore for the default values. So I should create it once and then I should never do it again. That's so odd, I don't know. We will solve that the next time, I guess. So let's first commit this stuff, and I think the test is running, right? So all the tests are running, I hope, in the integration package. Whoop. Yes, indeed. So that's good. So let's see how many groups do we have created. That's so stupid. Okay, I see. Yeah, we have to remediate that problem somehow. So for now, feature, it is now possible to retrieve a single group from the backend. So, good. Again, something done. I will quickly go to the bathroom and I think we will try to remediate that problem still. I really would like to solve that. It feels very weird. So we'll be back in a sec. Good. All right. So we quite did something and achieved quite a lot today, but there is one issue with our database, and that feels so off. So I don't completely understand why this happens. But whenever we run our test script where we go through our database, we initialize everything, we create a test league, we create a test group. But it seems out of some reason, if we store the test group here with the group repository, then we always recreate it. And there should be a reason for that I don't completely get yet. And what's odd on that is, if we do the same thing with the league part, we don't do it. So it seems there is a slight difference that I don't see yet. So we have an ID, name, start date, end date, and website. There we have the same thing, but without the ID. So, but here we check if that one is null, and then we do the other one. But it doesn't make sense for us. What I did with the group is a little bit different. In the group, I said, okay, if the group ID is nil, then we create a new ID. And else we have this part, and I don't completely get why we always recreate it. So we have ID, name, league ID, admin, vetoes, map, and we have the values 1 to 7. And we return the ID. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. Nothing else is different. Log printer, in the league, we go fatal. But I mean, if we are running the tests, I think we run also into the same thing. Do you ever get an error here? If I run the league test, for example, so debug. So we run one time inside, but the error is nil. So we don't get an error, but we edit this, right? So we jumped into this method. Just retest. Yes, indeed, because we have no ID set for this league. That should be an empty UUID. Not anymore, obvious. Wait a second. Why is there now a real UUID inside? League ID is something. Wait a minute, what is the test that I executed? Let me check. Test insert, okay, that isn't maybe not the best test for that. So let's take the get all leagues. So here we go. League should be an empty one. Well, thank you for that. It's still not. I know it is not empty because we got from the makes sense because it's the testing one. The testing one is set. So we jump into here where we now pass everything inside. All right. We get that stuff. Bop, 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 bop. Takes a while. Scan it. Do stuff. Then we come here. Error is nil. And that's true. So there is nothing. We commit everything. Nothing is nil. Return. Thank you for your subscription, MMH Red. Nice to have you. So, with that in space, it's such a weird error. Never have that before. So, and if we are in the group repository, we have all that. And I can say on conflict ID. Do nothing. No, that's the wrong test. Don't need that. So inside of the league, if we execute now this, it adds a new group to it. Get all groups. We execute. We fail now. Okay, because he got a different one. What was the question here? Okay, the first one should be, okay. Makes sense. But how does the group look now? Okay, we didn't even add this one. Okay, so let's remove this one too. And we fail. And how does the group look like? Empty. So now it not even creates us anymore the value that we want. So where's our repository? So this on conflict is not necessarily what we need. If not exist, else update insert into did values blah 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 on conflict do update set do update. We can try that. Set expected got return. Set dname excluded dname. These examples are more manual. So in a table with sequence column, even if no row is inserted, the sequence is incremented at every insert attempt. The optional on-conflict clause specifies an alternative action to raising a unique violation or exclusion constraint violation error. Row proposed for insertion, either the insertion proceeds or if an arbitrary constraint or index specified by conflict target is violated, the alternative conflict action is taken. Simply avoids inserting a row as its alternative action. On conflict do update updates the existing row that conflicts that the row proposed insertion as its alternative action. Okay, makes sense. So on conflict do update guarantees an atomic insert or update outcome, provided there is no independent error. One of those two outcomes is guaranteed even over high concurrency. It's known as absurd. I'm happy with that. Specify do nothing, conflict action. This is the do update part, understood. The set and where clause on. Have access to existing row using the table alias, okay. Set and where, so it expected a set, right? So set ID where. I did not understand that. On conflict do update have access to existing row aliases. Aha, if you need aha. The currently accepted and seems to locate a single conflict at few conflicts, small tuples. It might fire. Do update must be provided a single conflict upset based on unique constraints. On conflict do nothing. User contact. Cinderella is freestanding, not directly attached to the insert. Postgres cannot derive data types from the target columns. Set name name, okay. So what I could do is say ID, do update, set ID equals ID, and then return the ID. Okay, no, don't store it anymore. Okay, so migration, is this a unique one? I mean, it should be unique, right? But do I have to specify that as unique? I guess I should. Let's alter them. Leak, modify table. This ID should be UUID, makes sense, not null. Identity guide, always. No, let's keep that away. Can I alter that one? Checks leak, keys. This ID should be a unique ID and it should be the primary ID. But it... Why is that a problem? God, he has written so much. What is the answer? Jeez. For do not update without need, even if you see no difference at the service or wherever. It might fire a trigger. Bright logs, okay. Possible to use on conflict to update the manual. Single conflict is not possible if multiple indices constraints are involved, but here is a related solution for multiple partial index upsert based on unique constraints with null. Do update set excluded. Into DB, select. At least get around the current error, which is stemming from the query returning more than one ID. No, but this is just replace, create or replace function. Log table foo in share, insert into foo, select. No, that's all not what I want. The question is, why is it even a problem? I mean, if I have... If it would not work for the league, I would say that's no biggie, but it's weird that it works here. So let me take that instead of creating the UUID all the time. So let's see, we have the group ID. Let's don't delete everything yet. Add it here. Let's say we have the group ID, which is init null, then we query row. Yeah, we do the same thing. We get all of that. This will be added here. So, and up here we add the same thing, but without the ID. So, removing the last parameter. So, here we get the group. Here we get the group, and then we need it for this stuff. Goes into here, goes into here, remove the ID. So that's that, and then we have var error. We set, and we check. Okay. So now it is even closer to what we had before in our... So that works already, that's quite good. Let's run that twice or 3 times. Let's see if our group... That's so odd. Not null, true, identity kind, null. Okay, I have no clue. That's super weird. Maybe it is how I execute the things. I mean, it's anyway not too problematic, I guess. So we keep it like I had it before. So remove all that stuff. But just to keep it in place, then in the worst case, we would have to clean up the database whenever we run something with the groups. Guess that would be the easiest solution yet. Why can't I see anything? And yep, and this one. Okay, I mean, it's not too much of a problem, you know. Hopefully. Good, tests are running. Just one time the integration tests running all, and then let's check out how it turns out. Fantastic. Good. The problem is if I run all tests, the groups are getting really messy. Have to think about that. Don't know. Okay. But anyway, this is it for the live stream today. Thank you very much for watching. It was a joy. We came quite far in my opinion, and I'm really happy with the solution there. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we see us on Friday.